Welcome to another episode of Bargain Bin Saturdays, where I discuss movies I've bought off my local Walmart's bargain bin for DVDs and Blu-rays. And this week I tackle Dragon Guardians, another kid-friendly CGI movie that is truly a mixed bag of quality in terms of its good and bad elements. Though I think it's time to begin discussing the ups and downs of the story as a whole. Story-wise, Dragon Guardians is a bit difficult to grasp at times, since the plot attempts to move at a breakneck pace and never allows the viewer a chance to ponder the nuances of the plot or the motivations of the characters, and this lack of time to think or process what is going on can open the movie to some boomerang bullshit, as some would like to put it. Seriously, where do these guys come from, and what purpose do they serve besides adding a little comedic relief to the movie? And the answer to my rhetorical question is none. To make matters worse, a lot of the cast in this movie don't seem to really add anything to the movie as a whole. And to compound upon top of that, the movie feels small despite the plot being about saving the world from destruction. The movie never includes a scene with the nameless masses, so we're left with a world that feels like it's populated with a meager 14 people. And several of those characters add nothing to the movie as a whole, and are reduced to mere stereotypes in order to shoehorn them into the movie for padding.
Oh wow, Dad, that's awesome! Although I think it would look a little better with more pink. What's the problem? Pink is such a cool color. Right, but the thing is, we girls are much more intelligent.
So I see.
Another major issue with the movie are the villains themselves. Only one of the three villains in this movie is anything close to competent, and he doesn't make an appearance until the last 15 to 20 minutes of the movie. In fact, the major antagonists throughout much of the movie are two bumbling idiots that lack any sort of clear motivation for their actions.
Why do you want to be master of the universe?
Well, because obviously I think that, you say I'm a bad guy.
And while I have a lot of issues with the plot of the movie, it does contain several scenes that attempt to elevate it as something grand and memorable, but it fails to deliver because of the poor writing. Or maybe in this case it's the result of a poor dub that couldn't live up to the source material. Regardless, this movie does contain some quality morals for a young child to learn, and children are probably less likely to complain about the issues I take with the movie. Visually speaking, the movie is alright for a direct-to-DVD production, which is why I assume this is, to be honest. It isn't anything amazing, and the character designs feel a bit odd at times, but this is probably because I can't let go of how small the dragon's wings are in comparison to their bodies. In terms of music, the movie is actually pretty decent. A lot of the tracks capture the feel of a high fantasy setting, and are a major saving grace for this movie. On the other hand, the voice acting talent in this movie ranges from weak to alright to just outright horrendous.
I don't think I know it. I'd like to hear it.
Very well, very well.
Dragon Guardians is an interesting little CGI movie in some respects, but it feels a bit weak in the grand scheme of things, especially in comparison to Dragon Hunters, which I took a look at last week. But not every movie can be as good as Dragon Hunters, and let's face it, Dragon Guardians isn't that bad of a kid's movie. While I might have issues with the weak villains and all the other things I brought up, kids are probably less likely to complain about them, so the movie stands up better on its own that way. It's just not something I would say adults can really enjoy, because there's just nothing really there for them to grab onto, unless they have a real strong childhood love of dragons, in which case this movie actually might be worth checking out. Otherwise, I'd just say stay away from it, unless you're gonna buy it for a young 6-year-old to watch.
And why would you want to rule a world where everybody's frozen to ice?
Why are you asking stupid questions?